Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing great. In today's video, we are going to discuss about one of the most important topics of Blender, which is the user preferences. Now you would be thinking, why not modeling or rendering? The reason behind this, you will watch in the video. So let's get started. Before we start with this video, if you haven't watched the first part of the series, please go and watch it. And if you learned something from it, hit the like button. Thank you. Within Blender, there is an option called the preferences in which you can change the system or the user preferences according to your will. So let's see how it can be done. To access that setting within Blender, when you open it, you can go into the edit option. Over there you will see the preferences option. Also there is a shortcut for that, which is the control plus the comma key or the command plus the comma key. So I will go into edit and preferences. Now over here you see a bunch of settings within the Blender preferences. We'll start with the interface first. So what is the interface? Interface is basically the UI of Blender, under which there are certain options. The first is display, next is editors, third is translation, and much more. So the most important feature within this setting is the display setting, under which the resolution scale is the most important one. Resolution scale for now has been set to 1, which means all the text and the icons which you are seeing are in 1:1 scale in which it was set to be. Now if you want better accessibility, you can change it to a larger scale. To do that, what you can do is go into the resolution scale setting, click over there and press say 1.2 for example. Instantly you will see all the icons enlarged and you will get better accessibility if you want. For now I'll keep it at 1. So next option in the list is themes. So Blender has the Blender Dark theme installed as a preset. Now there is another preset which is the Blender Light preset, which can be accessed by going over here and using the drop down menu you can select the Blender Light option. This style is not for me, so I will opt the Blender Dark option, but you can switch between one of them, or also you can install a custom theme from the net. Now apart from these two themes, there are multiple options for almost every setting within Blender to change according to how you want it to look. For now I will keep it to Blender Dark, but you can explore these options. Third option in the list is the viewport option. So in viewport option, the first thing you see is the display tab, in which there is object info, view name and playback FPS. So object info is basically the information of the object selected. In this case it is cube. So the cube is selected and it is under collection, that is why collection and cube. Next is view name. Currently the view is set to user perspective. Now if we set the view to front view or the orthographic back view, you will see that accordingly. Third is playback FPS. So playback frame rate is basically the frame rate which Blender Animator will give while you're simulating or playing an animation. Next option under the viewport display is the gizmo size. So before we see what gizmo size is, let's understand what a gizmo is. So basically what gizmo does is that it allows you to transform an object with the use of clicks. That is, you won't need any shortcuts. There will be a viewport button which will help you to scale, move or rotate that particular object. If you have viewed Rhinoceros 3D or 3ds Max, you would know about gizmo. So first let's see how we can turn that on, and then we'll see about the gizmo size. So for that we'll go over here in the viewport and select gizmo. Now under gizmo, for object gizmos, move, rotate and scale, all three are unchecked. I'll check all of them and we'll see what happens. Now you can see a ball has been created around the cube, which will help us transform the object. So now if I select this arrow, as you can see it's written move selected item. So it will help me move the selected item in that particular axis. So basically I just have to do it with a click. I do not have to press any access keys, or I do not have to press any shortcuts. Also you can scale the object just by pressing and it will scale along that axis. Similarly you can rotate that object by selecting that circular option over here. So it will rotate. Gizmos are good if you want to use them properly, But in my opinion, within Blender, the shortcuts allow the workflow to be very easy. I would uncheck that option for now and you can check it out later. After viewport, the next major option that we are going to take a look at is add-ons. We will also check lights, editing and animation, but we'll do that later. So now coming to add-ons. Add-ons are a very important part of Blender because they were originally made by people who used Blender and faced problems. So these add-ons were made by people who used Blender for people who now use Blender. Earlier you had to download most of them from the web, and now some of them come pre-installed with Blender, so it makes the workflow really easy. Blender add-ons are basically what we call plugins in SketchUp, and it does exactly the same thing, which is increasing the speed and the quality of your workflow. Some of the important Blender add-ons which we might need later on have been checked over here, so you can check it out, but we'll discuss about them in our later videos and I'll explain how to use some of them. So the next option in the list is the input options. It is an important option if you are a MacBook ThinkPad user or a laptop user who doesn't have numpad in their keyboard. So basically the keyboard option, what it does is it can emulate numpad. So as you know, some of the shortcuts are related to the numbers in Blender, that is like 1 for front view, 3 for right view, and similarly. So now if you don't have a numpad, the only option left is to use either an external keyboard or leave it like that. But with the Blender preferences, you can emulate numpad, which means the Blender numpad shortcuts can be used in the top row numbers. So if I press 1 on the top row numbers after this option has been checked, I will still go to the front view. The other option is the emulate 3-button mouse, which is basically if you are not using a mouse, but most of the users who use 3D will obviously use a mouse, but you can still check it out later on. The next option is the navigation option. So the first one within this list is the orbit and pan. So the current method chosen for orbit method is turntable, and also there's a trackball method. We'll see both of them and you can choose which one you want to keep. So currently it is a turntable, which means that when you are moving around an object, which is like orbiting around an object, the z-axis will remain so, and you can move around in x and y. So I'll show a demo of that. So as you can see, the z-axis is upright, but the x and y you can change accordingly. Now if I go to the preferences and choose the trackball option, I will show you what it does. So now that I have chosen the trackball option, you can see wherever I'm pointing the mouse and dragging it, that is where the viewport is going. As you can see, the major difference is that the z-axis isn't constrained. So it is good if you want to use it that way, but for most of the users, turntable option is what makes sense. So the next option in navigation is fly and walk, which is basically you can walk to navigate in the viewport or you can fly. So walk is like basically moving around an object like orbiting or panning. In fly you can use the WASD keys which you do in gaming. So now if I go in the viewport and press the tilde button, which is like the button right beside number 1 on keypad, what you can see is that on the bottom of the Blender UI you can see that now it is prompting me to do one of these things. So WASD has the logic that W will move forward, A towards the left, D right, and E will move you up and Q down. So basically it is very easy to navigate within the viewport with this option. You can hold W and then you can hold A simultaneously, you will move towards the left. Now if I press E, I can go upward, left, and also I'm moving forward. So this is the logic of navigation which is used in games to navigate easily, and it can be used in Blender as well to navigate along heavy scenes. I will switch back to the normal mode of navigation for now by pressing the tilde button again. Next option in the list is the key map option. So key map option allows you to change some basic settings, that is select with either left mouse button or the right mouse button, or to activate gizmo or the spacebar action. So for now select with has been done with left, you can also choose right. Other than this, Blender has some presets installed. First is the Blender preset which has been used in 2.8. Next is the Blender 2.7x preset. Third is the industry compatible feature. I use the Blender 2.8 preset which fits fine for me, but you can change accordingly. Next option within this is the spacebar action. You can see there are three options within the spacebar action. First is play, second is tools, and third is search. I'll show you one by one what these does. So play option is basically like YouTube. You can use spacebar to play an animation or a simulation. Now if I select this and go to the viewport, if I hit spacebar, you can see over here the frames are moving. So basically it's playing or stopping the animation or the simulation. Second is tools. Now if I select the spacebar option, over here you can see it is showing the same tool as it is showing in the left side of the UI. So it won't be of any help to you. Third is the search option, which is like if you are hitting space bar, you can search among many features of Blender, which is very useful while you are working. You can directly search for any of these options and you can implement them directly. Next are the system preferences, in which the Cycles render devices is one of the most important options. So Cycles is a ray traced rendering engine which is supported in Blender, and it is mostly used for creating photorealistic images that you see online. For now, in my option, none has been selected. So this none means that there is no external GPU within the laptop or the computer. So Blender will be using the internal memory for rendering any image or any animation. Now if you have an graphic card installed, you can either select the CUDA or the OpenCL option based on what company of graphic card you have, like NVIDIA or AMD. Next option is the save and load option, and this is one of the very important features of preferences, because if you are working on Blender and you're not saving it, ultimately all your progress is being lost. So please see this importantly. So under the blend files option, you can see relative path, which means that you can save your Blender file according to your need. Other than that, the important thing is autosave feature. So whenever you are working in Blender and it crashes suddenly, so autosave feature will be a saver for you. Basically, if you are setting any number in this timer tab, Blender will save temporary files in the background of that scene, particularly every n number of minutes. In my case, it has been set to 2 minutes. You can set it according to what you feel is best for you. Finally, in the preferences is the file paths. This is again a very important aspect of Blender. If you want to have a very proper workflow with a proper file management, this is the option for you. In this, you can select the folder for fonts, folder for textures, and so on. In my case, I have only selected the folder for textures, which means whenever I choose a texture, I do not have to go to the path of that folder again. I can directly click on the tab and Blender will prompt me to that folder directly. This option is useful as it helps you save time and manage files easily in Blender and outside of it. I hope you learned something new from this video today. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe if you are new to the channel, hit the bell notification icon for latest updates, and guys, do not forget to share it with your friends and other SketchUp users who are wanting to learn Blender for a long time and were not able to do so. Thank you.